And welcome to the Countdown to Kickoff with myself, Chris and Darren. How you doing, mate?
Good. It's great to be back with Chris Brack. Great to have you back on, buddy. Looking forward to today's game. Anfield back again to a full capacity. First time since obviously March of last year when we done ever so well against Atletico Madrid, but unfortunately didn't get the result we all craved and needed to progress. But it just looks buzzing today. Some of the scenes I've seen in the build up, everybody getting a lot of people I know traveling from here over to the game. So one I just can't wait for. And apart from fans being back, obviously the return of Van Dijk and having something next to our best team available out there is brilliant. Obviously sad with Fabinho, and obviously condolences out to his family about the sad passing away of his father. So and I know there's a 97 mosaic today for Andrew Devine, the latest victim of the Hillsborough disaster, to pass away. So it's emotional as well today, Chris, and it's always great, I suppose, to be back at a packed Anfield today for the first competitive Premier League game at Anfield. Buzzing, just can't wait for it today, mate.
Cool. Just before we go any further, today's show is brought to you by manscaped.com. So if you can use the code LFCDT at checkout, you'll get 20% off anything, and you'll also get free shipping as well. So, thanks again to Manscaped for sponsoring the show. Yeah, so best place to start is Harvey Elliott. Who saw that coming?
Surprising, I suppose, but like I was saying to you off air there, Chris, Klopp is obviously monitoring well on his loan at Blackburn. Look, he done wonders at Blackburn, didn't he? He went above and beyond any expectations. I think he goes there so young and raw, comes back as straight away from the get-go, was with us at the start, first day. I think it was the 12th of July, we were back for pre-season, and he's done brilliant, asserted himself brilliantly, right attitude, discipline. You can see his affiliation and love for the club, and obviously Jurgen Klopp has full faith and trust in him to give him a start today, and it's excited again to see him. Are we a bit apprehensive, a bit nervous as well? Maybe, but I mean, if anyone can do it, I mean, he's one of the brightest talents in world football at the moment, isn't he? You'd expect Harvey can do it, and Henderson back in there rallying them, it's going to be a big plus for him. And then obviously Van Dijk, Matip in there, you have serious leaders around them. So I'm expecting Harvey to do what he can do best today. But it's I can't help be surprised by it as well. Chris, what do you make of it?
Look, I think it's a combination. I think it's circumstances because of there's no Milner because he's picked up a knock. There's no Fabinho because of the tragedy what happens with his dad. So it came down to then, so do you go with him or do you go with Jones? Jones is the more experienced player, but I would probably say, he's just come back from a potential concussion, so we'll see that. Lineups, if you ask for the lineup, yeah, so let me get the lineups on the ticket tomorrow. I'll read it out to you. So we have got for us, we've got Alisson in goal. And we have Trent at right back, Matip and Van Dijk, and then we got Tsimikas at left back. Midfield of Harvey Elliott, Jordan Henderson, and Naby Keita. And then same front three as last week. So we've got Salah, Jota, and we've got Sadio Mane as well. So in terms of the bench, though, the bench is interesting. We've got Kelleher on the bench, Minamino. We've then got Thiago returns to the bench, so that's a good thing to see. We've got Firmino, whose record is 5 goals in 9 against Burnley, so that's definitely a good person to bring on. Jones is back in the squad, which is good. We've got a second keeper in Adrian, and then we've then got Gomez, Canate, and probably the big surprise, Andy Robertson's on the bench.
Yeah, it is very surprising. Robbo's bounced back because a lot of us were talking. I even heard rumours. People are diagnosing with being out of the season a couple of months until the new year. So, look, I think we all probably expected Robbo to miss this month. The international break comes up, unfortunately, after next week's game for him to bounce back then. But for him to be back and available, that says a lot about the man's character and unbelievable. Great to have him back. And you know what? Like, Tsimikas has done well so far for us. I mean, I seen a stat going in last week. He'd only played 7-8 minutes of Premier League football before that. So, he asserted himself brilliantly. And we've good omens coming into today's game. We haven't lost our first home league game on the opening day, which obviously this is for us, since I think it was 2003. So 18 years, we lost 2-1 to Chelsea. So normally when we play the first opening game at home, I know this is the second league game, we've a great omen in it. So I'm not expecting to lose today. Absolutely not. We've a great record against Burnley, although last season they did end a 68 game unbeaten run, unfortunately. But we were going through a real bad sport, and then we'd lost 6 at Anfield, hadn't scored in the league. It was the worst record, I think, since it was a 53, 54, something mad like that. So,
so like that. It's actually Burnley actually are undefeated in the last 2 at Anfield. Obviously they beat us 1-0 last year, and then they were the ones that stopped us doing 19 home wins in a row in the year we won the title with a late equaliser. So, they have got form for.
They've also scored 4 for the first 4 opening goals out of the last 5 against her. So when they score the opening goal, it's you don't want any team coming to Anfield and scoring that opening goal. But then I did see something else coming into today's game. The Salah's on 98 league goals. If he can get to 100, he'll have equals the same amount of time as getting to 100 as Henry. So who knows? I mean, Salah looks hungry, he looks aggressive, he's sharp. He's, if he can get chances today, you wouldn't put it past him getting to that record of 100 league goals, hopefully. But having said that, Burnley are very composed, they're compact, they're organised, they're drilled. They've always been a difficult side to beat. I remember, not last season, it was the season before, where we were trying to get to the 100 points. We'd won the league, and Rodriguez scores as 1-1 at Anfield. They leave it late, but obviously for them it was great. And it's just been there's been frustrating games against them at Anfield, a couple of draws. But today we just need to come out of blocks, come out with that intensity, that energy, be right at it from the get-go, and no excuses, Chris. Just get the 3 points today. And Burnley, I believe, are there to take, and they're in bad form. Last season was the worst season they've had since they're in the Premier League. So, they're not really backing dice. They're not bringing in signings. Having said all that, I do expect today to be a tough game, but I expect nothing other than 3 points. What do you think yourself? Are you confident, yeah?
I think we'll get 3 points. I'm just noticing a mistake on the ticker. I copied and pasted from James Pearce, and James Pearce has actually got Tsimikas on the bench. I think he's got it the wrong way around. Someone's not telling James Pearce the news these days. Tsimikas is definitely starting there. For those asking, he is starting Tsimikas. So, these one of these games, I hate them because they're quite cagey, and Dyche does seem to get under Klopp's skin. I think they get under each other's skin, to be honest. But no, I fancy us today to get a win. Don't think it'd be as easy as the Norwich game. Norwich, Van Nistelrooy way are a bit like what Bournemouth were to Liverpool a few years ago. They're so open. It's actually ideal. Burnley are a bit more. They'll make you work for it.
And the last game we played them, sorry there, Chris, the last game we played them, we went away with 3 goals, 3 points, clean sheet. Nat Phillips obviously was brilliant on the night. There was more pressure on us. They had the return of some fans. I think did some capacity of fans back just the second last game of the season. I think it was a midweek game just gone in May, and the pressure was on us to get that top 4, and we need to go there and get a win, and we went and done the business. So I know there's a couple of people saying, look, they ended the 68 unbeaten run, and there's a couple of omens for Burnley coming into this game. But I think, look, there's no reason today why we shouldn't win, and that's the most important thing, And I know we all, I'm seeing comments coming in there, Liverpool smashed them 4-0, and ideally that'd be great, but we have to be realistic. It is a tough league. Burnley are not going to be any sort of pushover at all, and the pressure's on us. A ton of fans, a ton of players, and we've started off the league brilliantly so far. We've been explosive, I think, from the get-go against Norwich. So they lost to Brighton at home. So everyone's expecting nothing in Liverpool win. So where there's pressure there, it's going to make it tougher for us, isn't it? You'd imagine today it's...
Yeah, I mean, looking at the Burnley team, there's no real surprise. It's Nick Pope in goal, who, to be fair, is a very good keeper. I mean, he's probably the key for them. Staying up or getting even mid-table.
Yeah,
experienced back four. Lowton, Tarkowski, me, Taylor, that's their best back four. The usual 2 lads up front, Chris Ward and Ashley Barnes. Ashley Barnes, who I've said on the quiet, is one of the biggest divers you'll see. He's very good at winning free kicks, despite the fact Sean Dyche says none of his players dive. Yeah, he does. He's just very good at it. Give him credit. The danger man for them is still probably Dwight McNeil. He's a really bright side. I think they've done well to actually keep hold of Dwight McNeil.
I agree.
I'm surprised a few other clubs haven't looked at him, because I think he's a good player. And I think he could play, for one of the Europa League level sides at least. So he's, they've done well to keep hold of him. I do think he'll cause us problems. Good test for Trent, that, and whoever's on the right hand side of midfield. So, but Ali A brings out a good point. Are we going to stick 4-3-3, or we're going to do 4-2-3-1 and try and perhaps do Henson and Cater as a 2? And you could play Elliot right, Manny, Jota and Manny in the 10, and you can play Salah up front, which we have done in the past. Yeah.
Well, I think last week Salah was still a lot on that wing, wasn't he, in attack, and Jota was kind of more the middle of Mane on the left. And I probably expected Salah to be more central. We didn't see a lot of that, but look, the lads will bounce in between positions when, you know what I mean? You'd imagine, I expected this season anyway to see Salah more central, but in relation to how we're going to line out with the formation, I mean, I look at that team, I think it's definitely that the lads, obviously a 4 in the back, then it's like a 4-1-2-3, so it's like Henderson just drops that bit deep, and then you have Elliott and Keita with that freedom in midfield, just playing the point of front three. I'd imagine that's how we're going to be. I think it'd be a 4-3-3 it looks to be, but you don't know, you know what I mean? We haven't obviously seen officially what way it's going to line out and what the formation is, but I'd expect, look, Henderson's going to be in there doing what he does best, isn't it? Just in front of the back 4, kind of in that 6 role. When he gets obviously that freedom to go forward, he'll do that. And just behind the lads, pushing Keita and Elliott, and then Salah, Jota and Mane up front. Just,
I mean, look at the bench. The ideal would be, if Liverpool have got a lead, is to bring on someone like a Thiago with half hour to go.
Yeah.
Just to hold the ball. Keep hold the ball and make him work for it. And I think that'll search for it. I've seen a few in chat ask about Chamberlain, saying, what's he done? Is he injured again? He's not injured. According to the Echo, he's missed out today due to personal reasons. So we don't know what they are. So it's not an injury. Same with Fabinho. Both Fabinho and Chamberlain are missing for personal reasons. I don't know what the personal reasons are. They don't tell you, which is fair enough. Milner is out with a slight knock. And then the others who aren't on the bench, who featured last season, is no Origi. You know, maybe that's a sign he's off. Shaqiri, we know he's looking to be off, so that could be one. Phillips, I'll be honest, has barely been seen. Not even in pre-season. I don't think he's been seen, to be honest. And then the two Williams lads, Nico or Reece. Doesn't surprise me. Reece Williams, the young kid, probably shouldn't be near the squad. And Nico, if you've got Robertson on the bench, you don't need 2 full-backs. You know, I suppose the only surprise is we've got 2 keepers on the bench.
And Origi not there. I mean, that's a good point. And Shaq not there. Just talk of them moving more so around Shaq and Nat Phillips, though. I haven't heard much of Origi. You know, I know I did see Shaq has agreed terms and that, but there hasn't been a fee agreed. So look, I think that's the end of Shaqiri, but we don't know what's going to happen with Nat Phillips. And Origi seems to have gone very quiet. I mean, the talk I'm hearing is that he possibly could stay on and be used as another option for us. And then the other option then obviously would be Minamino and Oxlade-Chamberlain as a false 9 if needed, you know, but I don't know. It's all speculation at the moment. There's a week and a half, a bit to go in the window. If we are going to lose some of these players like Origi, Shaqiri, Nat Phillips, it means there's more space to bring in players. We could see another 1 or 2 coming in. I'm not sure whether we will get 2-3 players in now. I probably do expect we'll still bring in 1 though, but it's going to be left late like it was in January, isn't it? It's going to be last minute thing, but once it's someone that can come in and enhance the squad, be another good squad option, Chris, I'll be happy. What do you make of what's going to happen? Do you think that the lads will leave or Origi?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to stay away from transfers too much because we've had it's talked about at every show. My gut feeling is we get 2 in. Who the 2 are? No idea. Okay, but I've got a feeling we get 2 in. I do think near the end of the window you'll see a few leaving. I don't think Origi leaves. I think he's quite happy at Liverpool. He's quite, you know, look, whether people like it or not, we gave him the contract.
Yeah,
he signed it. You know, he's entitled to sit on it. You know, now that may not sit well with people, but you know, if you offer someone a contract, they are entitled to sit in it. You know, so it is what it is. Craig Lowe wants to know, who have you got for first goal? He's backing Mane. I'm going to be boring and just say Salah goal because that's pretty much what happens.
I'm going to agree with you. I'd love to be a bit more expansive and creative and change the mood, Chris, and go for Elliott or someone, you know, Elliott or Keita. Especially, I think, look, it'd be great to see the lads do well today. You know, we can't get away from talking about Keita is back. He's back fit. He's been consistent throughout pre-season. He done okay last week against Norwich, still getting up to speed in the competitive games and giving game time. But Harvey Elliott, obviously, I know Dave LFC chats there, big up to thrown in that Harvey's a big surprise today, and he is. But wouldn't it be great? Harvey Elliott, first game at Anfield, competitive game, our first game of the season at Anfield with fans as well. You know, we're forgetting how much of an impact that's going to have. I know we've seen fans throughout the friendlies, but they only are friendlies. You know, the lads were not as had that intensity or that energy or that desire as what they'll have today. Today is the absolute biggest game in a long time we've had, and to have Harvey Elliott involved today, to see him doing well would be huge for us. You know, because. And I hate to say it, Chris, and it's not going back into transfers, but it'll almost be like a new signing, wouldn't it? Because it's a player that we've seen very little of. He's come on in cup games. He's played in the 5-5 game against Arsenal League Cup. He's done well for us. Come on in Champions League games. But to see him now being amongst the squad and to be given that chance, it is going to be massive for us, you know?
It's a big show of faith because, I mean, look, despite what people think, Klopp is a little bit more conservative than people probably give him credit for. And the easy option would have been to either throw Thiago and Henderson in, or sorry, the other option would have been to throw Jones in. Look, we all know what Jones could do. Jones, did absolutely fine. Didn't really do anything wrong for Liverpool. Again, it's probably come down to the fact he's gone to, right, I've got no Milner, I've got no Fabinho. I'm going to give Henderson run out. Who's got the most minutes in the legs now, pre-season wise? Well, it's Elliott, because Chamberlain's away with personal reasons. So it's almost like, I think these first 3 games, he just goes with who's the fittest, who's had the most pre-season. That's who I'm going with. I think ideally, if Fabinho was available, I don't think you'd have seen Henderson today. I think you may have seen Henderson come off the bench, but needs must a little bit. Fingers crossed, we have someone like a Fabinho back for Chelsea. I mean, not to...
You'd expect that. Yeah, you would. You'd expect. Fabinho, look, he's a passionate player. He's dedicated. He's the general in midfield. He's one I would regard as the best central defensive midfielder in world football at the moment. It's not taking away Kante. I know people are waxing lyrics about Kante, but look, I mean, Fabinho, what he's done for us and the type of player he is. And what I loved about Fabinho was when he changed position last season, he just got on for it. And he was brilliant in every other position and manned the matching a lot. But he's world class in that position, and he's going to want to get back ASAP. He's going to want to, do him and his family proud and get back doing what he's doing best and playing football. And for next week at Chelsea, you might see him. You could see, look, it depends now with Harvey coming in. There's a bit of competition there. Look, you'd expect Fabinho, Henderson starting all the time midfield. But with Thiago there now, is he going to be instant? That he going to look to Harvey a little bit more when Jones comes back? Straight away, there's a bit more competition there, But on paper, no doubt about it. And looking at experience, our best midfield is Fabinho, Henderson and Thiago, in my view.
Yeah, I mean, go back to the midfield. A few are saying, and this it's a good point, is how much have Burnley seen of Harvey Elliott? Look, we have all these stats now, but you're talking youth games and a few cup games. So how do you plan for it? Very little to plan for. Now, it goes one of 2 ways. It either flourishes, which you possibly hope he does, or it could be a game too early. But the positive I can say is, if it's a game too early, you have got Thiago on the bench. You have got Jones, which you can go, right, 45 minutes. You've had your 45 minutes. I'm going to put somebody else on. So we have got that cover. Big game for Tsimikas, though, because you forget Tsimikas and Jota, this is their first game at Anfield with a full crowd. They haven't played from a full crowd yet. Yeah. Big option there. And Tsimikas now, I'm intrigued to see what he does now, because the obvious option now is, well, Robertson's in for Chelsea. But this is his chance now, to really, look, there's the pressure, there's the kick up the arse. Let's see what you can do. Because he was, as I think Klopp summed up perfectly against Norwich, he was great for 80 minutes, then somebody took the battery out. He had about a 10-minute spell where he just looked, he has that kind of look on his face, and it looks a bit bemused, but, But you look at the game time, Chris, 6, 7, it might have been even 8 minutes. It's one of those. He's had nothing, has he? Minutes experience in Premier League in a whole season. It's going to be tough. But what I liked about Tsimikas was his whip of the ball. But it was very positive to see him standing over free kicks. So obviously there's something there that he can whip a ball, he can have a go. Because we know Andy Robertson, he's unbelievable. The only downfall is, and Conroy might like me hearing this, is that, and I'm sure he'll agree, look, because it's reality. It's not any exaggeration or putting him down. Robbo, best fullback there is in world football, no doubt about it. But when it comes to shooting, he just lacks that, getting that shot on goal. But there was a great goal that he got, wasn't it? A header against Burnley, not last season, the season before. He got a header against Villa.
It was an unbelievable goal. Oh, Villa, was it?
He got
I think he might have gotten a goal against Burnley, though, didn't he? He might have scored before, and then Rodriguez scores a 1-1 game. His
best goal was probably against RB Salzburg, where I think it was Trent to Robbo in the end for a goal. So
Tsimikas, you would say his strength is that whip on the ball, unbelievable when it comes to just probably crossing, but that he can score a free kick, I'd say, as well. Now, I know he was over a lot of free kicks in his time at Olympiacos, but look, he's done well so far. I mean, when we talk about players, you look at, well, what chance did he give him? What's the game time? For Tsimikas has been given very little of it. So straight away, that brings the expectation down a bit. Well, let's give him a chance. Let's see who he gets on. So I think he's conducted himself really good so far for someone that's just come in. He was very, I think, comfortable enough against Norwich. I've seen the link on around Instagram where James Milner's having a go at him for something he done, and he's right in his ear, and you need that as well. The
slap in the face was the highlight of the game for me.
He just demands that professionalism, doesn't he, Millie? So, but he be missed again today amongst the squad. He's not involved in that. And we talk about Milner being 35, but like the experience and attributes he brings, and just having that composure and what he expects and what he demands is unbelievable to have in a team. And sometimes there isn't enough of that, But it's great to see that Robbo's back in, though, obviously, and We'll just wait and see what happens. But Jota then on the other one you were talking about, Chris, like playing the first time in front of fans at Anfield, he's done unbelievable for us. You know, to think the goals and assists he got last season, but then to think he come on in more games than he started and the contribution he made, and he missed 3 full months of football. That hasn't been easy. And last week I thought, yeah, he took the goal. It was just a real goal poacher's goal, half chance given it. Wasn't the greatest of goal, but you take them all day long, you know. And it's great for him to come back to fans, because you forget how long we haven't had fans at Anfield in these competitive games for.
Yeah. I mean, look, today's game, look, it's a cliche, and it's a cliche for a reason. Early goal is probably what Liverpool needs today to settle the nerves. You know, not that you need much. You shouldn't need much to stay. It's the first time back at Anfield for 18 months with full fans. Last time we had full fans was when we got knocked out by Atletico Madrid. The last league game was when we had Bournemouth, when James Milner did his overhead clearance. So it's a while. So you want to actually get there and actually want to put on a bit of a show. And
absolutely,
in some ways, Burnley's a good one to put a show on against, because they're a side that, while our record is good, I mean, people get very upset about how we do against Burnley, but I mean, our record in the last 10 is we've won 8 of the last 10 against them. It's only the last couple where we've had a bit of a wobble. This kind of a team that actually might stoke them up a bit more, make them think, you know, look, this is one to bit like get revenge for last year. Look, they took our points of us last year. Let's get them back. And we know how crap that felt, that we lost our home record to them.
They're a very frustrating team, aren't they, Burnley?
Yeah,
like, I know people talk about this low block side, but they're like Tarkowski and me, a centre back, are really organised, drilled. I don't think them lads get enough credit for what they do. And look, as I said, Burnley, it's probably, if you're ever going to play them, look, it can be a good time and a bad time, because in a way they've nothing to lose, so no one's expecting that. And they're on a bad run of form. When you look at towards the end of last season, they just about stayed up last season. The league position, I think they got 17th, but they were well ahead of the rest. You know what I mean? When it came to the bottom three. Yeah. But it was the worst season they've had under Dyche since they've been up. They aren't a Premier League established team as well, which people forget. So they're well able to come out and frustrate Liverpool. And you know, if they get a goal, hold on to it, because they are a very physical, drilled, organised side. And they'll relish coming to Anfield today. You know, they look at this as a party kind of carnival atmosphere. And if anyone can throw a spanner on the works, if there's one team you look at your Brightons. You know, we also look at Burnley as a team that could do that. So as I said, I'm very excited today and expect nothing else in 3 points. But I am slightly apprehensive as well, because it's just, you know, it's Burnley and anything can happen. You know, it's a Premier League game. You're against a Premier League established team. But I just, as you said, that early goal, I think first 20 minutes, that intensity, that energy, that noise is there. But it does put pressure on the lads. But what gives me some reassurance today is obviously the keeper and goal, Alisson. But the partnership of Virgil and Matip, who I thought last week again were unbelievable. I think Matip, he could miss a year of football, come out and be man of the match for you again, be so composed, so elegant as a centre back. And he was flawless last week again. And like the two of them, Mark A has it there, Matip and VVD playing progressive passes. They're great as well on the ball and great for us going forward as well as defenders, you know. So that's a big plus for us.
Yeah, we missed that in the home game against them.
Absolutely.
The one way of breaking a low block is those diagonals Van Dijk can put onto Salah's foot. It splits the game. And it opens up a side that's really deep. It gives them to do. I would probably say, and it'd be interesting, is Matip probably the best centre-back we've got at just being able to be dropped into any situation when he's got no form, when he's not played for 6 months. You drop him in and he's absolutely fine.
Yeah, you know, he's unbelievable. He's world class. For me, I mean, you look at a world class player, someone that's consistent, reliable. But we talk about Virgil van Dijk, Cam, as you like, but there's a lot of that Matip as well. It just looks so effortless for the two of them as centre backs, and they just both bounce off each other brilliantly, you know. So, like, we've seen Van Dijk being glorified for the long passes, particularly that one away at Bayern Munich where he gives it to Mane, he takes it around and he scores. But I mean, we've seen Matip probably not doing that as much as in important games or fixture as what Van Dijk's done, but Matip is again unbelievable. Like, I mean, that centre-back pairing is probably the best we have on paper. And again, you look at experience and consistency. It'll be interesting to see what Konate and Gomez do when they're given that chance. But it's all about taking their chances while they're there this season for lads, and that's going to be one today for Harvey Elliott, you know, as well, and Tsimikas, as you mentioned. That chance, just give it everything you can do, and that's all can be asked of you. Yeah.
And the good thing is, this is Virgil's first game back at Anfield since the injury. So, and this will be another good test of Virgil. Last week, it was not an easy game, but, you know, you're more worried about Pukki perhaps turning him and see how Pukki did. This is going to be more of a physical battle for him. So, again, this is the one for Virgil. How do you feel when you have a Chris Wood or an Ashley Barnes crash into you? You know, nothing nasty, nothing cynical, but, you know, the physical guys. That's what they do. You know, Jake Tarkowski out of corner is a nightmare to mark. Mm-hmm. This is another good test for Van Dijk to see how confident do you feel.
Well, they're gonna know. Their talk coming into this game is Virgil's back. He's back with the fans. You know, he's not going to be obviously 100%. And when he went off that time at Goodison injured against Everton, but the talk is, look, we've all played football, and the chat you have with partners and people and picking out weakness. He wasn't tested a lot last week. Let's get at him. Let's make him work hard today. Let's be physical, be strong, which they are. Let's back each other. Let's just make it so horrific and frustrating for him today, and just not make him do what he does best, get enough to be able to do that, So that's going to be their talk. There's no doubt about it. I'd be surprised if they don't come out today and make it that frustrating and hard for them. But I do go back to it again. You look at their record, it's Anfield, there's fans back. It's going to be absolutely electric inside there today. And some of the stuff I've seen from, Spying Cop, the way there's going to be more flags and stuff like that. There's a lot of emotion as well around it today. Obviously, with Fabinho's dad, the 97th victim and the Hillsborough disaster. So much emotion riding around the game today. Extra incentive today to go out and put on a display that I just think we'll have enough to beat them today.
Yeah, I agree. DK, yeah, we've already covered Ox, Milner not on the bench. Milner has a knock,
slight knock,
and Ox is not there for personal reasons, so that's why they're not on the bench. Right, guys in the chat as well. Let's see, what do we think prediction wise? So Colin Daz, prediction and goal scorers.
Predictions really, I think 2-0. I think we keep a clean sheet against Burnley. I think, as I just mentioned, the significance the lads are going to have a centre-back paired and Henderson back in there. You have more leaders being added to the team. I'm just going to go for 2-0. It's a very, very tough one to call today, Chris. It can go. I'm not saying, look, I don't think we'll be beaten today, but it's a game that if Burnley scored first, as I mentioned, they've scored 4 times in the opening goal in the last 5 games against us at Anfield. That's, going to be a big omen for them going into it. So I'm just 2-0. We won 3-0 last week. I would have backed us last week to go to Norwich and win 2-1. So we were a lot better than that. Sometimes it's easy to forget how good this Liverpool team is and how drilled and how good we can be when we do show up on the day. And I think it'll be another, good enough performance today. I'd expect it to be very tough, physical. They're composed, they're compact. They will make it frustrating as hell as much as they can. But Salah to get 2, I'm going to go for, to get to the 100 goals and equal the same time as Thierry Henry got his 100 goals in. The only 3 players that have done it quicker is Aguero, Shearer and Kane, who the big transfer speculation is still evolving around. So it'd be unbelievable for him to equal Henry, as he doesn't get enough credit as he deserves. I mean, Salah, what a specimen. Freak physique, unbelievable goal scorer, unbelievable attribute, unbelievable discipline, attitude, anything you want, every manager's dream. I'll go for him to get to 2 today, to get to his 100 late goals, and Liverpool to leave with 3 points. And then obviously going into a big, big game next week at Anfield again against Chelsea. What's your predictions on today, Chris?
Well, I can't go the same as you, so I'll think of something else. I'll go 3-0 then. Let's go confident. I'll give you the Salah double and Mane to get his first goal of the season. I think I'll be quite happy with that.
I'd love that. Yeah,
Dan Jay's got 7-0. We'll be down like for ages. 7-0 if we'd all like that. But before we go, look, as much as we enjoy doing this, we do enjoy this. Big focus still is hashtag Sienna Steps. So it's on all of our Twitter pages, on all social media. We need to get this young girl we need to raise another 60k to get us 120k to get to America. There's an opportunity for her to go there in November to get the treatments she needs, which is going to help her with her form of cerebral palsy. So if you can, please give to it. Go and just give a page and give to it. If you can't, please just reshare it. Let's get as many people seeing it as possible. Let's get this young girl to America. And then later on today, so after the game's finished, 15 minutes after the game finished, we'll have the guys from the Red Sea podcast on, and they'll do all the post-match reaction, hopefully talking about a Liverpool win. But before we go, don't forget manscaped.com. Use the code LFCDT to get 20% off and to get free shipping. All the details are in the description below. Before we go, anything you want to add, Daz?
No, just as what you just mentioned there, if anybody can't donate for Sienna Steps, just obviously to share it. It's vital you get the message out there onto many platforms as possible. Look, I'll take a couple of seconds to share it. And anything else? Just looking forward to the game, just looking forward to it. Can't wait. So many positives going into this game, but can't help feel that slightly bit nervous as well. Just can't wait to see that midfield of Hendo, Harvey and Keita. Keita's due a really good game. He owes her so much, doesn't he, really, when you look at his appearances he's made, availability he's had in the last 3 seasons. And to put Harvey in there with him, it's a big call, but it's what Klopp likes, it's what he trusts in, and who are we to judge him for that, you know? But it's just roll it on now. You know, it's the early kickoff, pressure on us, but we can also put pressure on other teams if we get a win today. For the teams that are late kickoff and teams to play tomorrow. So looking forward, Chris. Anything else yourself to add? Or
no, not for me. Just a countdown now to kick off. Pardon the pun.
Yeah.
So looking forward to the game, and obviously, you know, fingers crossed. End of today, Liverpool could be top of the league. So until then, take care of yourselves.
Yeah. Take care, guys.
And don't forget to join us for the post-match show with Red Sea guys.
Big up.